As operating experience has shown, this model does not have any problems with corrosion resistance, but there are still some comments regarding the body parts. A failure of the remote central locking button on the left outer door handle, post-restyling cars from 2010, was also noted. During operation, the top-end 2.7-liter engine turned out to be more reliable. Individual ignition coils and the proprietary variable valve timing system of this unit, as a rule, serve without problems. Due to the considerable fuel consumption, in the city about 14 liters per 100, many owners of 2.7-liter versions install gas equipment. According to the service workers, if the work is done well, this unit works very well on gas. But the 2.2-liter turbo diesel unit can cause more trouble. Thus, its injectors are sensitive to the quality of the fuel. Left diesel fuel can quickly damage these components. As practice has shown, glow plugs are not very durable either. On average, they last 60 to 80,000 kilometers. Moreover, there are often difficulties with replacing them. In the worst case, you have to remove the cylinder head and drill out the boiled spark plug. The glow plug relay may also fail. A crankshaft pulley with a damper clutch may become unusable after 80,000 kilometers. On cars of the first years of production, 2006 to 2008, there were cases of failure of injection pump fuel pumps. Later they were modernized, and they serve without problems. Typical problems inherent in both of the above-mentioned units: possible starter failure, leakage of the crankshaft front oil seal and engine sump. The timing belt of all 2.7L and 2.2L engines, until 2010, is equipped with a belt that must be changed along with the rollers every 60,000 kilometers. During the 2010 restyling, the 2.2-liter turbo diesel was modernized. It became 42 horsepower more powerful. And the timing belt received a durable metal chain. I have good news for you. Now, if you are planning to buy a used car, or learn more about your car, you no longer need to search for the information you need on the internet. We have collected everything in one place for you, on the website carme.pro. Here you can find out everything about the car, what breaks and at what mileage, any problems with engines, chassis or gearboxes, which trim levels are better not to mess with, and how not to lose money buying a used car. You will learn all this on carme.pro. Unlike its predecessor, which was endowed with the best off-road arsenal, permanent all-wheel drive with an interaxle viscous coupling and a self-locking diff in the rear axle, the second-generation Santa Fe is equipped with plug-in all-wheel drive. The front wheels are engaged when the front wheels are slipping using an electronically controlled interaxle clutch. If necessary, to overcome difficult sections of roads, it can be forcibly locked using a button. This crossover does not have any other off-road equipment, although, as Santa Fe owners assure, it feels quite confident outside of hard asphalt roads. Notes on the transmission: with mileages exceeding 80,000 kilometers, the rear gearbox cover may leak and the driveshaft outboard bearing may become unusable. It's good that the bearing is replaced separately. The car was equipped with mechanical and automatic transmissions. In mechanics combined with turbo diesel engines, the dual-mass flywheel is not durable. It can become unusable after 70,000 kilometers. At this mileage, axle shaft seals can leak in all manual gearboxes. In automatic transmissions, a leak was noted in the oil pan and oil cooling radiator hoses. A characteristic problem inherent in both types of gearboxes is the failure of the right axle shaft bearing at high mileage, more than 100,000 kilometers. Moreover, if it is not replaced in a timely manner, then the spline connection of the inner and outer parts of the axle shaft is broken, and in this case the entire assembly will have to be replaced. Both Santa Fe suspensions are independent with anti-roll bars. The front is McPherson, and the rear has a multi-link. The serviceable chassis is moderately stiff, and the car shakes a little on uneven surfaces. But at high speeds, during quick lane changes and when cornering, the suspension holds the tall car quite well. The weak points of the front end are the support bearings of the front struts. They can become unusable at 40 to 50,000 kilometers, and shock absorbers, especially the front ones, they were out at 15 to 30,000 kilometers. At the end of the model's release in 2012, the manufacturer upgraded the shock absorbers, and now they last longer, 80 to 100,000 kilometers. On prairie-styling cars, wheel bearings are no longer durable. They can become unusable after 50,000 kilometers. The situation is aggravated by the fact that they are replaced together with the hubs. In 2010, the bearings were modernized and became more reliable. In the 7-seater versions, shock absorbers with variable degrees of stiffness are used at the rear, which on our roads can become unusable after 70 to 80,000 kilometers. They cost approximately 3 times more than regular ones, so owners often replace them with conventional shock absorbers paired with stiffer rear springs. Many suspension parts have a good service life. Ball joints last 80 to 100,000 kilometers, silent blocks of the front levers, 100 to 150,000 kilometers, and the rear multi-link, about 150,000 kilometers. But the front stabilizer bushings last about 40,000 kilometers, the rear one 70,000 kilometers, the struts 60 to 70,000 kilometers, the rear one 70 to 80,000 kilometers. The cost of suspension repairs is reduced by the fact that many consumables are replaced separately. The steering wheel equipped with power steering may be of concern, where the rack bushing is noted, at 70 to 80,000 kilometers, and the rack seals may also leak. In this situation, the only good thing is that the rack is reparable. There are also comments about the brake system. There is a knocking sound from the rear calipers. They require periodic lubrication of the guides, as well as a failure of the stoplight switch, which domestic dealers replace free of charge at the expense of the manufacturer. In general, the quality of the interior trim is not bad. The only caveat is that over time, the paint on the leather steering wheel wears off. Typical problems with interior equipment are associated with the branded radio. It may not turn on or turn off spontaneously, go into navigation mode, or the display may completely go dark. The windshield can crack in the area where the wipers are heated. This usually happens in winter, in cold weather. As a rule, the paint peels off on the decorative trims of the front and rear bumpers of poster-styling cars since 2010. Hyundai Santa Fe is suitable for those who are looking for a large, roomy and well-equipped car with good off-road capabilities for relatively little money. Korean is cheaper than many more prestigious competitors. Although the reliability of this crossover is poor.